Hey guys, it's Karl. Welcome back to another quote-unquote budget episode. I'm gonna say that $100 to $200 mark is actually the sweet spot in tech where you can actually grab some pretty dope tech. Your money does go a far way and you don't have to cheap out between that $25 to $50 range. I always try to hook you guys up with some sort of giveaway, but I want to address the spam that's been going on in the channel. Every comment is getting a reply by some sort of bot, some sort of person that says, you've won a giveaway, contact me through WhatsApp or however they do it, and they actually charge that person or they ask you to pay them for shipping. I will never do that. I will never ask for money from you. So don't fall for the scams. And the only way I think we can coordinate a actual giveaway is through either IG or Twitter, through one of my verified accounts until YouTube fixes this entire spam in the comments. So if you want to win something, just leave a comment. Don't respond to anyone that isn't me saying that you've won something. Follow me over on Instagram, follow me over on Twitter. I'll DM you specifically from my verified account, get your info, and that's how we'll coordinate shipping. So make sure you do that. You can win one of the items that you see today. Let's get started with one of them right now. These are the Marshall Motif active noise canceling earbuds, and I give these the stamp of approval for my favorite earbuds for that $200 price range. So first off, they do come in this pretty dope case. It's an IPX4 case, so you can splash water on it. It should survive, and even better, the headphones themselves are even more robust at IPX5, so both water and dust resistant. Marshall actually claims you can rinse these off. They'll still be good. I haven't personally done that, but I have taken them to the gym. Even with my crappy ankle, I still try to be a bit more motivated to work out, to stretch, to increase my mobility, so they have survived that. And the design on them is really dope. The tips almost have this knurled aluminum on them. It has this really, really nice texture. I'm a big fan of that. And the actual design points the headphones or the earbuds a bit off to the side, so it gives you a more secure fit in your ear. The sound quality out of these is kind of the standout, and I am switching over from my AirPod Pros, and I typically listen to electronic music, so pretty heavy and deep bass. It isn't overbearing, and across all sound stages, these honestly sound great. You've got 20 hours of playback. That's of course with the little case, and I would say you get around 4.5 hours per charge. And I know that $200 is that sweet spot for earbuds. If you look at, say, AirPod Pros, those are over that $250 range. So I do think these have better sound. They fit better, and I think they have a really sleek profile. Definitely should be on your radar, and I was pleasantly surprised as I've used these over the past couple weeks. So highly, highly recommended on my end. Keeping on the audio game, I typically don't recommend HomePods, but I had to include some sort of orange in one of these vids. This is the HomePod Mini, which has been out now for quite some time actually. You can actually rock a couple of these in a studio pairing setup, which I actually have done here in my studio. The one thing that I would say that still kind of annoys me is the cable is kind of stuck to the back of the HomePod. The second part that annoys me is Siri is the absolute worst in terms of actual processing. So unless you are just asking your smart speaker what the weather is, I would probably cap it at that, because even something as simple as reminders, notes, Siri just seems to struggle. But I guess it's still recommended. The sound output is decent. I'm just kind of saying it because it's my orange plug for the day, and an orange a day keeps the bad tech doctor away. Ooh. Or is it an apple? I guess it's an apple.
It's technically. Oh, that's better.
Next off, on to desk accessories. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I think that $100 to $200 range is the sweet spot for any new desk accessory. So these are from GroveMade. They're not new. I've reviewed all of their stuff on the channel before, but this new desk shelf is in fact new. It's in this new white. It also has a black colorway finish. This is actually perfect for the new studio displays, which I would not recommend getting the $400 height adjuster, which I think is ridiculous. Get something like this, as simple as a desk shelf. It's around that $200, maybe slightly more expensive, $220 mark for this entire system. So you can see how sweet this actual setup looks. Like I said, no need to get that $400 piece of aluminum over on the Mac Studio. This just rises your monitor off the desk. You can actually use this little tray to put all sorts of extra desk accessories. And if you want to spend that extra little amount, this is their actual desk tray where you can store all of your things. So you can see here, I've got all my stationery, I've got my little SIM card slot area, and I've just got a bunch of other stuff that typically lives on my desk. It's organized, it's neat, It's what I strive to be more in my life. I know that organization is my weak point. Nick can agree to that.
Yep.
But that's okay. I just try my best. Dope desk accessories. I was a bit late to the game on this one. For those that don't know, my ankle got severely screwed up and I was out of commission for the past couple of weeks. But this DIY kit from dbrand, I think they're sold out, or maybe you can still buy them. They come once a year. Typical dbrand fashion. Do it yourself. Don't fuck up. They have these really, really fun little campaigns where instead of paying money to buy an actual skin, you can pay money to get material in your choosing. So you can see here, we've got a bunch of different options. We've got the concrete, we've got the carbon, we've got, of course, orange, and you can actually do a DIY cutout of skins and put them on whatever you want. So obviously I wouldn't recommend sticking on a smartphone. Spend the $15 from dbrand for an actual skin where the cutout actually works. But if you want to skin your Mac Studio, you can attempt to do a cutout of your own. And they actually give you some cool little tools, a nice little ruler, a nice little cutout knife like this, and you can do your best to try to DIY something yourself. And as this little teaser, this gloss orange, I think some of you know, new car is on the way. I will leave it at that. I will leave it at that. Next item, around that $200 range, 200 USD, maybe around that $250 mark. Once again, cheating, but I had to include this as a budget item because if you actually see these specs, this is the Poco X4 Pro 5G model. You get a 120 hertz display. You have a 108 megapixel main camera. You can see some of the cameras sneaking on the back. You, of course, have an actual Snapdragon 5G chip. It's the 695 and a 67-watt turbocharger with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. All of that for around 200 bucks. I think that is unreal. I think this could be the best budget phone, especially when you look at the new iPhone SE, I guess 3, the 2022 iPhone SE, which starts at $429. Spec-wise, crushes it. And as this phone starts up, you can see that it's rocking MIUI 13. The feel of this, it feels flagship worthy. It actually feels similar to the S22 Ultra. It's got some heft to it. It actually has metal around the outsides, the full glass back. I'd probably laugh at you if I didn't know that this phone costs as cheap as it does. I would probably peg this around that $750 mark. Obviously, as I use this more and more, I'll let you guys know on social how it performs, but just wanted to put this on your radar. For a budget phone, you can get some pretty decent stuff, and it of course has 5G, so you really cannot beat that. Next off, we're gonna talk about storage and hard drives. So this first one is the one that I kind of swear by here in the studio. These are just simple Samsung SSDs. I use them over on the new Mac Studio, over on my MacBooks to manage all of the footage that we have here. This is a 1 terabyte option. You've got lower ones like 512, even a 256. So depending on what your budget is, it is always wise to buy storage, not stock OEM. You don't wanna pay Apple $500 to $1,000 more for extra storage. Get something that costs between 100 to 200 bucks that can double your storage. And if you are doing any next gen gaming, I just wanted to include this as well. I think a lot of you know I'm a big Xbox guy. This is a 512 SSD. You can slot this natively into the back of your Series S or X, and it has the same hard drive infrastructure as your actual console. So you can run games straight off the SSD. And since games these days are 100 gigs, 200 gigs, we're looking at you, Call of Duty, with all your updates, typically run out of storage really quickly. So this one, like I said, 512 gigs for the budget option under that $200 mark, around that 100-ish 50. You can always spec that to a terabyte or even 2 terabytes if you need more storage and you're a big gamer. Keeping on the gaming theme, unfortunately, controllers these days are typically around 80, 90 bucks if you're just getting stock OEM controllers, whether you are a PlayStation person or, of course, like I mentioned, Team Xbox over here. If you want to dole out a bit more money and get something custom, this was actually designed in the Xbox Design Lab. I believe that's currently online right now. You can see I've got all of mine in orange. We've got some of the control sticks or the triggers in chrome orange, and we've got my good old gamer tag right in the middle. You have options for PlayStation as well. This is from a third-party company, from Hex. They build out these pretty dope controllers, once again, in a custom colorway. You can see that I have all of mine in orange, some of the buttons, once again, in orange, and we even have these specialized triggers on the back to give me that extra little hand when I do decide to play online. Isn't too often, but you have those options. Tech travel pack time. This is the DB Journey, the Ramverk 21 liter in raspberry. I've been using DB stuff now for this past year as I've been on multiple trips already. I kind of swear by their packs now. They're simple, they're minimal, they're actually built really great. They have this really nice material on the side that wicks away all dirt. You can actually clean it really well, and the build on it is just so nice compared to most other packs that I check out. Definitely on the pricier end for a tech travel pack or just for a backpack in general. But if you want to spend that extra money, if you want something a bit more premium, definitely one to look at. Last but not least, in a best tech episode, which I've featured before, but I try to conclude with these because I think they're so cool and so unique. This is a Grid Studios art piece. Grid Studios essentially takes pieces of tech, breaks them down into all of their components, puts them into a nice little frame, typically older tech. So you can see here, the Game Boy Color. This is the OG system that I grew up playing. That's the game that I played. I had Pokemon. I was the only one rocking Pokemon Blue in my friend group. Everyone had Pokemon Red. I thought I was the coolest little guy, but that began my gaming journey. And it's just cool to have some of these pieces of art as tech. They've got things like iPhones. They even have OG BlackBerry. So I think these actually make great gifts, or if you are just into tech yourself, you can always just pick this up for yourself. These are way cheaper than 200 bucks. They're around that $100 range. And if you actually grab multiple, the price comes down. So pick up a couple. I've hooked you up with your tech addiction for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember, this was the best tech, budget tech between that $100 to $200 range. Make sure you're subbed to the channel. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Don't fall for the spam. Follow me over on social. My links will be down there as well. And I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next vids. Peace.